what was your first reaction when you heard about the caste census announcement by the government?
This was a big moment for the Congress party in their eyes. So it was like, ये क्या हो गया?
सरकार हमारी नहीं है पर सिस्टम हमारा है.
Modi, Rahul की बात सुनते हैं. That was Pawan Khera's tagline. But I think this once again shows that never ever predict what the Prime Minister can do.
Point is, Bihar election is in the now. Definitely, caste census is an issue there. This issue has been hijacked by the BJP from the opposition.
Even in the Trinamool, there is two factions.
What has happened is increasingly Mamata has realized that all the old memories of partition are returning after this, particularly after Murshidabad. Today, Trinamool leaders are at each other's throat.
BJP in West Bengal is such a weak party. The MLAs who have won on BJP ticket, they are switching over to Trinamool. Why? They feel that perhaps on BJP ticket I may not win this time. Even the stronghold area of North Bengal.
Does Rahul Gandhi want DK Shivkumar?
Priyanka.
DK
Shivkumar is very close to Priyanka. And Priyanka acknowledges the services that DK Shivkumar has rendered.
In terms of financial resources, in terms of being the troubleshooter, whenever there's a crisis, he's dashed off. Whenever they think there's a possibility of horse trading, DK is sent. So he's a man for all the seasons and ticking the right boxes, except not becoming the chief minister.
Tamil Nadu, what was the big game plan of the BJP out there?
This time, asking Annamalai to step aside, putting Nainar Nagendran there, who is ex-ADMK. At the moment, the BJP's objective there is to see that the opposition votes are not divided and DMK's figures are brought down.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Today I have in my studio 3 senior journalists to decode the political developments that have been happening in India in the past 2 weeks. Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, Gautam Lahiri, senior journalist and Press Club of India president, Pallavi Ghosh, senior editor at the CNN News 18. Top on the list of topics that we discussed is the decision of the BJP government to go ahead with the caste census. This has confused the party's supporters and apparently the opposition as well. We'll also discuss what is happening in Bihar, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu as far as politics is concerned. And also on the agenda is Bengal. Shekhar, Pallavi, Gautam, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. I'm going to address you by your first names.
Yeah.
I have traveled with you guys, I have reported with you guys, and I'm so happy that you're part of the podcast today. So we'll discuss various issues to do with politics. I'm going to begin with Pallavi because she's the youngest among us.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much for saying so.
So I'm going to begin with you, Pallavi. What was your first reaction when you heard about the caste census announcement by the government?
I said, oh my God, ye kya ho gaya? Because since morning we were out on duty from 8 o'clock and we were all discussing economic war, the diplomatic, information, propaganda war. And though, obviously, you don't announce a war after a CCS or a cabinet meeting. Those things are never done. And, I think we also need to tell people कि ऐसे नहीं होता, जंग announce करके जंग नहीं होता.
Right.
You think it through, take some time. But you watched all of us. We all were so sure there will be that big ticket announcement. Well, that big ticket announcement, and I think the minister was also having his fun moment. He was talking about Silchar, he was talking about an expressway, and suddenly he speaks about a caste census. And Rahul Gandhi, I think he was planning to rest because he was in Kanpur. He dashed down and then he had to do that press conference because this is a big moment.
Yeah,
for
8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
7 p.m. press conference, which began at 7:20-25. But obviously, this was a big moment for the Congress party in their eyes. So it was like, ye kya ho gaya? But then this is the Prime Minister.
सरकार हमारी नहीं है पर सिस्टम हमारा है.
System हमारा है. Modi, Rahul की बात सुनते हैं. That was Pawan Khera's tagline. But I think this once again shows that never ever predict what the Prime Minister can do. He takes his own time, he chooses his moment, and it was there.
Gautam, the country is in a near war situation. I won't say war, but a near war-like condition. जो ऐसे हालात में अगर when the government comes up with the caste census thing, how did you react when you heard of it? Did you expect it?
Well, actually, I'm in the profession for a pretty long time. I know that after a cabinet committee on political affairs or cabinet meeting, war is not generally announced. Perhaps something more dramatic announcement is coming. That I thought. But people's psyche was about that perhaps a war would be announced. That Pallavi said, it's never announced even after CCS. Yeah. And for the preparation of a war, it takes some time. So I think perhaps government is in I will say it's a clever move by announcing caste census because to divert the attention of the media, the new discourse, diverting people away from the Pakistan issue. If you see the Pakistan newspaper, they are almost admitted that there will be war. Every day, the headlines of the Pakistan newspaper, the India is about to attack us and we should be prepared. That they have announced. But I think because of some kind of a discourse change is one of the issues, and ultimately politically it may pay dividend in some of the Hindi heartland, especially
But
on
then
the
for
caste
so
census,
many,
because the Bihar election is coming. Many people may contradict that nothing to do with Bihar election. It is, but point is Bihar election is in the coming now. Definitely caste census is an issue there. Nitish Kumar has a report already with him. He even went to the Supreme Court along with the other opposition parties. So I think at this moment, by announcing this, I must say that as some expert has written today also that I know this issue has been hijacked by the BJP from the opposition.
do you
Now-
agree with that, Pallavi, that issues
To
been...
a certain extent, but the thing also
So now
is
see, two Bengalis don't agree, to
No,
hua
I-
nahi,
I
Bengal is
think-
I
agreeing.
have specified Hindi heartland.
India.
I see.
No,
I-
she's
I-
agreeing with you.
So when I did speak to people, so when I'm talking about not speaking to the media or not speaking to a political class, the first response is, and I hate to use that word, but I speak to cab drivers. I do speak to them a lot. I know the much maligned
Okay.
taxi walas, but I do
Thomas
speak to
Friedman, please note.
So उनके दिमाग में उन्होंने कहा अरे ये तो राहुल गांधी बार बार बोलते थे. Which is why if you look at what the union minister was talking about, he made a distinction. He said the Congress wants a divisive caste census. We are going to make it a part of the larger population census. कि आप जब आपके घर में कोई census form fill कराने आएगा, they'll also slide in this thing about your caste. So we are listening to that aspect, but it's not going to be focused only on caste. So I think the challenge now begins for the government and the BJP how much they're able to convince the people and the voters that look, it was actually our idea. It is us. It's us. We got it done. आप सोचते हो, but हम करके दिखाते हैं. They've said that pretty much the same thing about GST, Aadhaar, and all those things. I differ with you to a certain extent that I don't think it was just a diversionary tactic. I would read this more as a normalizing tactic, because what I did pick up from my sources after a cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister was very keen that this high-pitched tempo, which is understandable, has also to calm down a bit. We should look like a government which is at work, and things are not going to be normal, but we have work to do. It's not off the cuff that a Prime Minister goes to Mumbai for the Wave Summit. It's not off the cuff that he goes today to Thiruvananthapuram and Amravati. He's also trying to send out a message that we mean business. हम कठोर जवाब देंगे. We'll pick our time. The army will pick their time. But we also have work to do. So it's an attempt more than diversion. I think it is more of an attempt to kind of normalize the entire narrative. Otherwise, it's getting just too much, high pitch. In my office, my housing society, these WhatsApp uncles and aunties were already writing ki, let's start hoarding rice and dal. And I'm trying to tell them, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. But what do you do? This
Yeah.
is something which you can't afford.
That tempo build-up that happens.
Yeah. But look how the government, just to take what Shekhar was saying very quickly, look what the government is doing step by step. They're having an ideological war, information propaganda war, coming out with videos to show how the attack took place, Insta accounts being blocked and all of that. Then you cancel their visas, you send them back, talk to the diplomats. These are all mind games. It's just building up.
Cold start, as they say.
Yeah.
Let me come back to the caste census issue. Shekhar, when will the national census take place? As Pallavi is saying, this is going to be part of that. When is that going to happen? And what kind of timeline are we talking about? And how will that timeline affect day-to-day functioning of political parties, day-to-day functioning of the governments in these states? What's going to happen?
One of the Hindi papers put the headline the day after this announcement, अब घर में जाके सरकार पूछेगी जात. So this is going to be part of that big exercise, and this is more about that will collect economic data, car ownership, two-wheeler ownership, fridge ownership, TV ownership, internet penetration. There are so many things are connected with this kind of survey. So timeline in the sense one can see sometime in June. Normally what we have seen in previous years, every June there is kind of an announcement. In 2023, if you remember, that thing did not come. So people assume this thing will not start, and the reason was given was earlier it was COVID. Then they said let me get over with the general elections. Now what I see is sometime in June you will come with a very routine bureaucratic thing saying that they are freezing some data and all that. In the sense the exercise, but then they have to start retraining. At this time this is going to be done by handheld devices.
Okay.
The census commissioner's office is already, they had already trained some people. There will be retraining of people using handheld devices in addition to hard copy mark. So they will record everything by the punch, and that will all go to central data. So which will something you can expect census to start in January of 2026, and it will take the whole year. And by say January of 2027, January, February, these data could be collected, and in turn it may take a couple of months before sometime in June perhaps of 2027 there could be some kind of release of initial provisional data and all that.
How does one, like for example, if it's an intercaste marriage, what do the children become? Which caste? The father's caste only? Is that fixed?
See, that's good. Another question is, caste is generally, are you going to record just OBC?
Yeah, that's what.
Or if you are going for subcategorization, in that case you will have to say ki SC, then what particular SC.
What did Karnataka do and what did Telangana do?
No, you see, there is a difference between survey and census.
Yeah, correct. Explain that to now.
Yeah, survey is, like for instance, I was in Pune. I happened to be in Pune when, because of Supreme Court order, in fact, the last year I remember, because of Supreme Court's insistence that you cannot declare a Maratha quota for Marathas or quota for any particular community without some kind of a data. So they immediately did, the survey. And survey was somebody knocked at my door and asked,
Yeah, very
Maratha?
random one.
आप मराठा हो या मराठा नहीं हो बस. They only checked whether Maratha or not Maratha. On that basis,
No, but
report
in
was prepared.
Karnataka, the survey was more forensic. They asked
Telangana,
for
the
in
Telangana
Telangana
model,
also the
which-
subcaste everything is
And
there.
you see, at Bihar survey was
survey.
little more methodical. Of course, now Congress and Rahul feels the Telangana survey is more
Is the
particular.
model.
Is the
more
model survey.
So which
model.
one will the government
No,
use?
this will be a census.
Census.
See, survey is, it's between the enumerator and the respondent.
Okay.
He person asks, just goes. It's census is a much detailed exercise because there will be a campaign to ask everyone, all citizens, to allow these people, enumerators, into your house, at least give them a glass of water and answer their questions. There will be a big campaign, which you will start where they will ask you a lot of things.
And none of us, at least the last census I remember, was like, we couldn't agree in the family when we were sitting and the census guy came and what is the language, mother tongue of your kids? We started arguing because there was difference. So we said, Hindi likh do aap. Hindi was not the mother tongue, but it was like default ki Hindi likh do. Neither my mother tongue nor my husband's mother tongue. But what do you do?
If you look at kinds of political windfall, that's not going to happen now. By then, your UP elections will get over. Before that, Tamil Nadu, Assam, West Bengal,
five
Kerala
state
elections will get
26.
over. This is just that. A big point which has been repeatedly made by the opposition that BJP is not interested in
it's just
surveying.
hijacking
that,
of a political...
Look, it has started now. It's a long, and it will
Yeah,
start
the
from...
announcement is the news.
So it
Yeah,
will
the
start from
announcement is the weapon.
2026,
Yeah,
but
the
it will
announcement
end
is
in
the weapon.
27. And mind you, immediately after that, another thing will happen, which many will call again a diversion. One is that census data are revealed. Government will announce delimitation commission.
Huh.
To start the other work. Now, delimitation is going to be another big exercise because commission will consist of, a lot of experts, retired judges. They will start visiting every state.
We'll come to that, Shekhar, because then we have to talk about Tamil Nadu.
No, what I'm saying is...
We'll open that can of
Smita, what I'm
worms.
saying is, this is going to be such a long-drawn affair. It will get non-sexy, after some time. We will lose interests.
Okay, Gautam, tell me what is the impact on in Bengal? You said Bengal
just
ka
about
alag hi
as
story hai.
You have not told the census guy what is the mother tongue or what is as you know, recently Mamata opened the Jagannath temple. The priest asked, what is your gotro? She said, Mati Manush. She didn't say about her Shandillo gotro. Normally this by the Hindu caste. So she said,
Rahul Gandhi's gotra he gave, no? When he went to sing. Dattatreya.
That's just
Dattatreya.
kind of thing.
Huh.
Now, in Bengal, what is it? The news, when it broke here, it became a real, seriously, everybody, when the Delhi capital newspaper, they thought it a big news. They published it prominently. If you see that next day, the Bengal newspaper, not a single line in many of the newspapers. Personally, I sent a copy. It was not published. Anand Bazar had inside 2 paragraphs story. So, but at the same time, I agree with Pallavi, the caste does have a role.
Finally, two Bengalis agreeing.
Let me say about that, not politically, but when you see the Bengali newspaper matrimonial ad, you will find the Brahmin bride needs a Brahmin bridegroom, a Kayast needs a Kayas, but it is all on the matrimonial life.
That's not true.
Politically नहीं होता है.
Politically nothing. For so many years.
Even socially, Smita.
नहीं, socially है.
नहीं, socially है, but
है.
see, then again another question.
नहीं, I will add one thing.
See, there are, parents, one of them will be...
I'm sorry, but this is this thing about us Bengalis thinking that we are the only cultured people in India. That's not true. We are as faulty and as of this caste as it is there.
Whatever maybe, I am saying political impact.
SCs, OBCs को नहीं पूछते वहाँ पे. वहाँ Brahmin
even the
obsession
local
है.
state BJP party wanted a caste census in Bengal. But they were worried about what the central party will say. They have not taken any decision. Suddenly they have taken, if you go by 21 or 23 parliament answer by the Home Ministry, you will see that nothing, no caste census. Census will be done, but no caste census. Even one of the cabinet decision where the PIV handout that Congress has distributed, there is not mention of caste census. Now BJP, particularly in some areas where the OBC, I feel, the Mahishas, Midnapur, especially where Subhendu Adhikari comes, there is a large chunk of, there is some sporadic movement is also going on the Kurmi, right? And also some people are Mahishya community are demanding they should be declared as OBC. That movement is going on. But in Bengal, when people vote, they don't think about a caste line. That not become a huge issue like in other parts of the country.
Possibly, but I see that 21 to 22% of these OBCs, SC, STs in Bengal. Bengal's narrative has always been about that Bhadralok and Brahmin and all of that. If you look at Kolkata itself, and I was looking at a figure, only 0.5% of them are registered as SC, ST. This is, I see this as shoving it under the table. Bengal doesn't want to acknowledge the caste factor. Dada's right. I mean, Gautam is right that I don't think people go to vote in a mind that I'll vote for this person A, B because he belongs to that
wrong.
caste.
Bengalis are always the same tone.
No. But I also disagree.
Obviously.
So we are not on the same
that
page.
That proves your identity.
That proves that two intellectuals can't agree.
This time in Bengal, I think.
But I think the BJP, sorry to interrupt you, but I think the BJP will make this an issue. The BJP is targeting that OBC, SC, ST. So they will pitch. The more Mamata Banerjee remains silent on the caste census issue, the more the BJP will start trying to make this an issue, hoping to tap the OBC, BJP, SC, ST votes.
And it's not just the caste, right? It's also the Waqf issue.
Yes.
I want to bring that also. What is the impact of this Waqf amendment? What is that going to have on politics of Bengal? Shekhar, begin with you and then we'll go to the others.
No, Waqf, actually, you see, in terms of Waqf properties, if you go state-wise, there are not so many, there are a lot of Waqf properties. In terms of disputes, the highest number of disputes are in Uttar Pradesh or in Maharashtra, but not in Bengal. The Bengal problem was, which also upset Mamata.
Yeah, she's picked it up in a big way.
Why? No, she was angry with these minority groups. She said, I have said I will not implement it. What are you protesting against whom? See, Mamata was very upset.
But can she not
No, I'll tell you why.
Not possible.
No, it is not question of implementing, not implementing. She said, you are protesting against what? What is there? This is not...
vandalizing the state properties, which state don't
so
want.
There is
Okay, so what is new in that, Gautam? Now, vandalizing state properties is haq of every Bengali.
No, that's true.
Smita, what happened there was...
I don't disagree. It started
It
with
comes
Rishi
second
Aurobindo.
nature, yeah.
He first dropped bomb, then he became a Rishi.
The Bengal problem is, what has happened is already there is a sense, which is again related to census, about the demographic changes along the border with Bangladesh.
Correct.
And then
yes,
also...
that's a major factor.
That's a major factor. And in census...
External factor is a major.
Census, when they are going to go house to house, you are going to see a lot of tension also.
Yeah.
In the border districts, there's going to be a big problem. Number one. Number two, and other areas like Kuch Bihar, there are other communities, Rajbanshis and all, they are also, they have been placated by parties. but they also would like to, register themselves, show their strength, so that they get reflected in, because there is talk of subcategorization, you see, among even Dalits. So there you may see, as Gautam Da was saying, there will be more kind of, assertion, and local level community leaders will tell people, declare yourself. So that will be there. So in terms of Waqf impact in Bengal, the otherwise, which is, you see, now Mamata herself realizes. Of course, this Jagannath Dham project started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But then
Now
she
that's
knew that, see, what has been Trinamool's success formula. She has got that solid 30%, let's say 30%, some call it 35% in some areas. That 35% minority support is there. So from the rest, she needs only 20%, so that she can get close to 50% of total votes. And it has been happening. That's why Mamata could not be dislodged, as was the case earlier.
Yeah.
Same
That's the
same
history-
formula was working.
History of Bengal.
But what has happened is increasingly Mamata has realized that all the old memories of partition are returning after this, particularly after Murshidabad. And there is a sense of militancy in that community which is no longer under Trinamool control. That is largely due because internal problem in Trinamool. Today Trinamool leaders are at each other's throat over collection, or distribution of this.
I like the word collection.
Yes,
Explain
that's
collection.
a big problem, and they are killing each other because
It's such
BJP
a
is not such
sophisticated
a
word for an
opposition.
insidious thing. Collection. Explain to people who don't understand Bengal politics what collection means.
Collection is, in
It's
modern
a
parlance, a cut.
kind of kickback for everything.
Everything, and whether it is cattle smuggling, coal extraction and transport. And it's such a situation it has come where at district level there are 2-3 groups claiming to be the official ones to collect and send up. And that has become very unmanageable. So you have the younger MLAs who owe their allegiance to Abhishek Banerjee. There are the seniors who still swear by the lady Mamata Di. And that is a big problem, Smita, and that is not getting reflected. But you can see the way the churning is happening.
No, I think that
Mamata's problem
WhatsApp
is not
leak which
BJP.
happened-
Mamata's problem managing this.
That was the tip of the iceberg. Again they put a lid on it, but that was the best example of what is going wrong. It's, to me, it looks more and more and like the Congress party. There was a Sonia Congress, there's a Rahul Congress, and they are at loggerheads with each other. And the seniors feel that Ma Mati Manush was our idea. We were very much a part of that movement. But today we are being sidelined, and these young people, upstarts, are taking over. And I see this inside the parliament. It works also, you can see them actually walking in 2 groups. The little Didi group, little elderly, and the old style grassroots, and a little younger Abhishek group. And it just takes a political reporter or
Yet
anyone of us to
Mamata
watch.
Banerjee will have an advantage because of the BJP on the other side is totally divided house. 3 leaders are every day.
But I think,
it's
Dada, they've
every
said the
day
same thing
they
in
are accusing
Delhi
each other,
also, yeah.
even on personal grounds. Like Dilip Ghosh recently married, he didn't invite Subhendu. Subhendu said, okay, he didn't invite, okay, party has given. Now he went to Mamata Banerjee's Jagannath temple inauguration. Whole party is against him. He said, don't teach me about who am I. If you cut my skin, you will get a Hindutva here. But what about Subhendu and others? They came late. They actually grown up under the Mamata shadow. So this kind of everyday press conference from one side to other side. BJP, in Bengal, unfortunately, what the central leadership is trying, yet BJP in West Bengal is such a weak party to my only basis, thanks to people that they're given 77 MLA seats. But there are all booths are not managed. Where even Amit Shah, what sees that problem? There were more than 70,000 booths, where only they could gather only 40,000 booth members. So 30 are not there. Now again the MLAs who have won on BJP ticket, they are switching over to Trinamool. Why? They feel that perhaps on BJP ticket I may not win this time. Even the stronghold area of North Bengal, their MLAs are now quitting BJP and joining TMC.
Okay, fine. That you have a weak opposition in West Bengal is what you're saying. But the point which Pallavi was saying is that even in the Trinamool there is 2 factions.
But there still Mamata matters.
Okay.
Whatever Abhishek might have difference. Yes, I know that there are differences. Obviously, he is also aspiring for the future leadership. Definitely, he has his own followings. But recently, even perhaps I don't know whether he was also invited for Jagannath Temple. Perhaps he didn't go also.
No, let me, from whatever I have gathered, Mamata's approach towards BJP has been changing. But in the case of Abhishek, it has been changing much faster.
As in?
As in the sense, Abhishek feels the old policy, the scorched earth policy. I mean, fix that with the old communist model. Don't allow the opposition workers. Don't allow anything of them. Panchayat election, any election. This was the old, which Mamata adopted the left policy, same thing.
Correct.
And that meant, so BJP was with great difficulty, they could grow. But point is, there is an earning for change. The people are just tired in Bengal, Smita. I'll tell you, they have seen what is happening. There is a decay there. And a decay that is helpless because the continuous, that kind of entitlement kind of culture that has here. But there are a lot of young people who are looking for a change. But who do they vote for? Now, Abhishek has been suggesting, look, we need to make peace with BJP. Because there are other dangers happening. See, left had completely gone down. But what are we seeing in the elections? Left is again picking up.
Resurgence of the left.
And this left Congress combined. And there is another problem I talked about. There is a Muslim leadership there which is also anti-Mamata, that Indian Secular Front. It started by a religious preacher.
Furfura Sharif.
And those areas there are violences between Trinamool and that Indian Secular Front people. So there are a lot of things happening, and Abhishek's approach is, look, and people say that is a lot to do with his own problems in the ED cases. Some of the cases are getting tighter and tighter. So there is a tension in that. And at one stage, Mamata ordered removal of posters of all leaders, including Abhishek, excepting hers, in some of the party conferences last year. Because she found there was a parallel thing happening.
Pallavi, if this is happening, what Shekhar is saying is that this whole people are tired and are yearning for a change, and the left is sensing that. What happens to the India alliance then if the Congress is able to make some kind of inroad, or left Congress combined is going to make an inroad? Will Mamata do the same scorched earth policy which Shekhar is talking about?
So I'll just come to your point, but before that, I mean, we talk about a divided opposition, we talk about no alternative being there. Fair point. But that's what many people would say about Delhi also. We don't have a Kejriwal face, the Delhi BJP is so divided. They started working on that in a smaller way. So I mean, there's still elections in 2026, so the BJP really needs to get its house in order. And I know, I pick up whatever little from those sources, they're saying that we are planning to go in for a change, which may not be an alarming, in-your-face change, but kuch ho raha hai dheere dheere, getting in the RSS and all. See, Mamata Banerjee's strong point when she took on the left and she won was also that the gundagardi of left, ke ami jawab debo. I will reply to it. I will give a good governance. I will give law and order. Those things are getting hit. That RG Kaur incident, that woman thing. It didn't affect her. Sandesh Khali did not affect. Murshidabad, please, let's not underestimate Murshidabad. I mean, all of us have been there many times. But in Murshidabad, I mean, at the end of the day, the woman of the house also wants peace. There are lots of women who could be upset about the fact that, even Didi is not able to give us law and order and all of that. This is going to start building up. Poor governance. She keeps on calling the BJP Dangawadi and all of that. Someday down the line, the BJP is also going to begin, and they have begun this whole campaign about Danga, so aap bhi nahi rok sakte ho. It was a total failure of law and order. She's going to Jagannath Temple to Digha. Clearly the Hindu vote.
There are certain section of minority community also, they are not happy with TMC. That is
but what is the option they have?
No, but you are a chief minister.
Point is, unless any party can divide these en bloc minority vote, you can't dislodge a government. In Bengal, what Shekhar pointed out, till 77 Congress was there. All the minorities were safe with the Congress party after partition. After that, when they started emergency Najbandi, they shifted to left. They are very happy with the left. When the Buddha Devata started madrasa reform, and also the industrialization, but the sharecroppers, most of them are Bengali Muslims. They changed to Mamata. People are also changing. There are many forces are working also on the ground. It may happen in some area, particularly in those areas where the Congress stronghold.
So Bengal
Congress stronghold. Actually,
left plus Congress.
So that Congress will be loser. Where the Adit Chaudhary is planning to contest, that area was under affected. Adhir Isha Khan Chaudhary, Malda Congress. So in
Is
a
Adhir a
way,
factor at all?
this riot is helping TMC and actually damaging Congress vote bank.
But
And
Adhir
one
Ranjan
more thing
Chaudhary, did you
happened.
see him much?
That's a minority
Yeah,
division.
He's just lost becoming an MP. Did you see him much? No.
No.
I was there in Berhampur when the elections were taking place on Lok Sabha. Right in the middle of that campaign. First of all, no one from the Congress party even came and campaigned for him. Second thing is, right in the middle of the election campaign in Kolkata, Mr. Kharge does a press conference, snubs Adhir. How could he win after that? It was Adhir's lonely battle, afternoon, night and all. And he knew it. He's a very astute politician. He knew my chips are down. So
So
where
that's what
is
I'm
the
saying.
Congress?
So now who is the minority community? 30%?
Yeah,
Around 30%, yeah.
30%. Who are they seeing as their savior? Will it be Rahul Gandhi Congress or TMC Mamata?
No, because if Congress is in a position to win the election, then that is not the Congress stake there.
For the first time, Smita, Mamata ordered a crackdown on the rioters. And police was told, deal with them. This has never happened before in those
After
areas.
24 hours.
And initially,
and
when
she was
police
very
did
upset.
not do, she transferred the OC,
but that's after
and
OC
24
and
hours.
also
I
SP.
mean,
But that's after 24
the
hours.
narratives that
Not
have come from
after
Murshidabad
48
is
hours.
such
Haan, to Tale.
that that she's soft on minorities and all, but this is one occasion I will remember where Mamata ordered a crackdown. And when the crackdown happened, local Trinamool leaders who belong to the minority committee, they were clashing with police, which even
Another
infuriated
fault
further.
line I should mention that Mamata doesn't support the caste census. That was one of the points
She
when
said
she
that in
left
the India Bloc
Bloc
Alliance meeting,
from
she
Mumbai,
said that.
Mumbai meeting. When Rahul
Mumbai
Gandhi
meeting, yeah,
insisted on
correct.
caste census, Mamata said this is not our, we will not support this. So he came out of the meeting. That was one of the issue, caste
Is
census.
there anything that the two of them agree on, Rahul Gandhi and Mamata Banerjee? It seems like even though they are in the alliance, they have completely divergent
Yeah, but
views.
TMC Congress don't agree on anything much now.
No, that is
TMC
since
and
20
Congress, alag baat. I'm talking about these two leaders.
Smita,
She does get along with Sonia Gandhi.
She does.
And
no, that was
Priyanka.
last in 2016.
No,
After 20, I remember an episode. After 2014 elections, Mamata came to Delhi in 2016 and met Sonia Gandhi.
Yeah.
And made a suggestion to her.
There's that photograph also.
No,
famous
that
photograph.
suggestion was, look, now let Congress take a back seat. Let the regional parties' respective strengths lead the opposition.
Who is
Which-
more powerful in which state, they should be given leadership.
Which
Yes.
Sonia Gandhi straight away repudiated, saying, how can Congress take a back seat? How can it completely give up its role? She said, we cannot give, we are the principal opposition party. That was in 2016. After that, Sonia and Mamata did not have a meeting. And in 2019, you saw what happened.
Abhishek met with Rahul Gandhi though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
one
Mumbai thing.
meeting.
See, the
In
point
one
is,
meeting they were there.
No, even in Delhi
The
they
breakfast
met,
meeting.
and
that was there.
Mamata's
happened.
problem has been, she finds Rahul's style
But
of
she's been very
leadership
open
is-
about it. I remember it was in Constitution Club at a press conference. You could make out. I mean, Rahul Gandhi is sitting there. Mamata Banerjee was already sitting there. He comes in, little late. He did not even stand up. She's a sitting chief minister. On many interviews, she's actually said, I cannot do business with Rahul Gandhi. Sonia is my friend. I feel for Sonia. There are many occasions. She's very open about the fact that she is very uncomfortable. I
But
don't think
later
she
she
can forget.
also criticized Sonia Gandhi. She said, why should I meet Sonia Gandhi every time if I come
Yeah,
to
but that's
Delhi?
because we keep on going. No, but
No,
Because-
there is
remember-
something to it. I mean, if we see Patnaik, he's never met with Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi ever. He's the chief minister.
Chief Minister, yes.
He's never met with
Yeah,
them.
he never met.
Right? Everybody knows about his father's relationship,
Yeah.
close ties
But
with the
then
Gandhi
BJD
family.
But
They didn't.
Smita,
But
BJD
BJD
didn't.
was always seen as
Congress
a B team
was
of the
a main
BJP
rival
now.
of BJD, right, Odisha?
Even as a sitting chief minister,
Yeah.
there's not even been a call on.
No, that Naveen Patnaik could not have done. Because that would, revive, that
But
would have
if
sent
you-
different signals.
If we move a little towards central India, let's move a little bit from Bengal, and we talk about Nitish and we talk about Lalu Yadav, they somehow seem to get along fine with Rahul Gandhi. At least Lalu's family is very close to Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi. वो कैसे हो जाता है? You've seen the third front very closely.
Yeah. And this is what happened. They think that the way of Rahul's functioning or attitude, they don't, because particularly one of the major issue is Kanhaiya Kumar.
Huh.
Now, Rahul is promoting Kanhaiya in Bihar. Begusarai, the first meeting Rahul had in Begusarai.
And that walk also, they had
And
yatra.
Rahul Rajjidi has a problem, especially Tejasvi feels that Kanhaiya is a threat to his leadership. So
He doesn't see
more
Chirag as a threat, but he sees Kanhaiya as a threat.
Kanhaiya as a threat. Chirag is a threat for Nitish Kumar, not for Lalu.
Huh.
So that's a different, I think,
Kanhaiya,
different ballgame.
Kanhaiya does not belong to that proper caste matrix also. He is a Bhumihar.
He is a Bhumihar.
So Bhumihar is a forward caste there. No?
Yeah.
It doesn't fit with Lalu. And Lalu, see, as far as Lalu is concerned, is that front there is led by his party. Is led by him. Though he is not in best of health. So Tejasvi is handling it. And now what is happening is this march, this by Kanhaiya Kumar, is to make Congress workers, prepare for a situation where they will start demanding more seats. They are not going to settle for some dozen seats. So that is changing the dynamics there in the opposition-led alliance.
And
there.
also the qualities of seats. Because last time they complained, Congress complained, the 70 odd seats that they have given, all the difficult seats. And there are only hardly...
ये क्या तरीका है कि difficult
This is
seats and
not
easy?
too easy to win. They want a cakewalk.
And this
kind
is not
of
going down well with Lalu or
Lalu,
Tejasvi. This भाई आपका कुछ बेस ही नहीं है. And so to counter that, हमारे बेस नहीं है, हम दिखाएंगे हमारा बेस है.
Pallavi, Rahul Gandhi has already done 2 yatras. Now again he's in Bihar. First time, that months before an election, Rahul Gandhi is getting active in a state. Usually he doesn't.
Yeah.
He makes maybe 1 or 2. In fact, in 2024, I don't know whether he went also to Bihar for the campaigning.
think
Maybe
he went,
once, just randomly, probably one
or
visit.
2 places he went.
Yeah.
Joint rally हुआ था.
So he didn't. But here, months before the election, he's already going and he's getting active and all that. Why is that change happening? Does he sense a change in Bihar?
He hopes for a change in Bihar, just as he hopes for a change in Gujarat. So Rahul Gandhi is going to go back to Gujarat again. And there was a meeting which took place last week on Gujarat. So Rahul Gandhi wants... See, his politics begins and ends with the Prime Minister, with Modi. मुझे किसी भी तरह मोदी को हराना है. So Gujarat is one pitch. Bihar, he thinks that with this caste census thing, it will work.
Yeah.
And that is what, we did ask him this question and he said, no, I don't think so. The government didn't announce it with an eye on Bihar, but he thinks Bihar is a doable state. And they want to, Tejasvi Yadav being Tej and those kind of caste combinations. So Bihar is one thing. Of all the chunk of elections coming up, Bihar, they are very hopeful about. Obviously, they are very hopeful about Kerala, thinking of the cyclical pattern. Or kaun sa state hai? Tamil Nadu, yes,
Assam.
but thanks to
Assam,
DMK.
Assam
also.
Assam is going to
Assam
go.
is
Yeah.
also, they are hoping.
They are very much hoping.
That Congress is
And now
getting
you're seeing
ground.
this Himanta versus Gogoi.
Gaurav Gogoi, yeah.
There's a
And
lot
Gaurav
which
Gogoi
is
has been
on-
given a lot of footage and importance inside
No,
the
he
parliament.
has come
also.
out from his father's age. Now he is leader of his own.
He is,
thoroughly.
and he's very astute,
Gogoi.
very shrewd. Yeah, and he's. I saw during the working on the parliament, he became the face of the protests of the Congress party.
No,
the
and
one
also
who's-
he's been seated next to Rahul Gandhi in
Gandhi
many
and
No, he
occasions.
speaks well.
and-
He's
he
a good
speaks well
person.
Hindi, English, very well read.
Delhi में ही तो है पला बड़ा है. He's not really saying.
But Smita, it's not easy vanquishing Hemanta. See, Hemanta has got the congregation in his hands, no? Congress
But
organization.
Shekhar, third term.
No, third term, there is there
it's
are
not
problems,
easy.
but then he is from the Congress stock.
Yeah.
So all the
He knows
games,
everybody's backstory.
That is a congratulation of BJP in Assam.
Yeah.
That is what happened in Bengal also. See, I don't want to go back to the same Bengal subject. If BJP had persisted with the leaders they had, not bothering for short-term gains and allowed their own homegrown leaders to come out as an alternative to Trinamool Congress, then things could have been much better. This is a thought in hindsight. Many people have in Bengal. That who are the people finally who were there in the last election, 2021 election? They were all Trinamool imports.
Yeah.
And then there was no choice. They were bad then, they were bad here also. So that is why once they saw that BJP is not coming to, there is no chance of BJP forming power,
migrate.
and they had to go back because their businesses, their entire operation there depends on state patronage.
Yeah.
And that's a big mistake many people feel, and leaders like Dilip Ghosh feel that more.
See, I think that Bohiragoto, the outsider tag, began to stick to the BJP in the Bengal elections. Like Kailash Vijayvargiya was in charge. Almost every big joining which was taking place, like Mithun Chakraborty and all, the ultimate photo which was released was with Kailash Vijayvargiya.
TMC has also got now cricketers coming and...
No, so
Irfan.
That's
yeah,
right.
but
अभी जीता है
And
और दिल को हरा
from
के।
but somewhere down the line,
And he was nowhere in Murshidabad.
and
that
on
time.
the ground, the feeling became that BJP is an outsider party. So people from Delhi are coming and campaigning. People who can't speak Bangla campaigning. We Bengalis are very parochial. Huh? We are very. We can agree on
I
this.
think that's
on this, all three of you can.
On this, all three of us.
I stay in Delhi, so I am an Indian.
I am also Indian. We are Probashi Bangali.
Parochial is a very strong word.
Very strong.
Okay, we love Bengal.
No, but it's true. The Bahar wala tag
they-
jo
see,
hai, very some
As
states
a
now-
non Bangla person, but who has had a lot of it spent my childhood there, and see, they are not parochial. They love the language, just as the Tamils.
Arey, ho-
Tamils love the language.
I have a
the
sorry
only
to
country
interrupt.
in
I have
the
a
world-
theorem. that
only
no
co-
central government, whether it is Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, or even these days Modi, don't want to play safe with the Bengal.
Dada, the
And
only
they prefer a government which ultimately helps the central government.
only country
You know how
in
many
the
bills were
world formed
supported
because
by
of language
Correct.
is because of
Correct.
Bengali language.
By walking out.
I mean, let's not ever forget
Abstain and
that.
walking
You
out is
know?
also support only. Na?
Walking out.
उठा के फेंक दिया West Pakistani को that you are the outsider because you don't speak Bengali.
See,
so
I
will
Smita, I
always think
remember-
that language is something you can't take out. I mean, okay, Kannadigas also, being a Kannadiga, I'm going to say this, that Kannadigas also suddenly waking up to, अरे हमारा language भी है, you know?
Like Sonu Nigam, I think, was pulled up for.
Yeah, was
No,
pulled
that
up.
is because the average Bangalorean gets upset when the auto driver asks him किधर जाना है.
हाँ.
Because Hindi is becoming largely.
But this was
used by-
asked even, I mean, this
That-
is asked
that's-
even in Tamil Nadu, no? And they like, I don't know what you're saying, you know? So
No,
people learn.
No, you mentioned about the how Bangla became a big issue and creation of Bangladesh. You know, Gyani Zail Singh, he loved quizzing journalists. After he had retired, after he had completed his term, so I remember sitting with him. He asked me, "ये बताओ, religion का ज़्यादा होता है या language का?" मैंने कहा, "सर, religion का भी होता है." Those were the days of that, Khalistan movement and all that. Then he said, नहीं, भाषा का ज़्यादा link है. Then he mentioned this thing, Bangladesh thing. देखो, but Bangladesh has travelled from that to today. The moment Yunus Bangladesh and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's Bangladesh
Is different.
A lot of water has flowed down the Padma River.
Achha, let me come back to Bihar now before we again go towards Bengal. Bihar ka we were talking about right now. I want you to tell me now what is the NDA's game. We've talked about the Congress, we've talked about the other parties, Chirag and Kanhaiya. Let's talk about what is BJP's game out here. Is it still going to be fighting under the Nitish umbrella?
Undoubtedly, because you see, in terms of caste matrix and caste arithmetic, NDA still feels they are in comfortable situation because the vote for Nitish Kumar is not the Nitish Kumar the leader. Because he represents a kind of social engineering which he has done already. You know, those Kurmis and Koiris and most backward
MDC,
classes.
most backward.
That
Ati
cannot...
Dalit.
And that doesn't get disturbed. That along with what the BJP can bring to the table in terms of, sovereign votes. So that, of course, they are very upset with that survey because the survey showed that sovereigns were, the so-called upper caste were further down in terms of numbers. But for NDA, that's the best thing.
Also, it's not necessary upper caste vote in a particular manner. They don't vote as a bloc.
There are some constituencies where there are Thakurs, there are
So
Bhumiyars.
that's what,
those are there. But basically, this model, minus the most dominant OBC, which is the Yadavs. The rest are, it's again non-Yadavs.
So is it going to be Tejasvi Yadav versus Nitish in this election?
Yes, it will be.
If that's the case,
and along with the minorities forming a very big solid support for the opposition allies.
So if it's Tejasvi versus Nitish, the minority chunk is going towards
Lalu, with the
Majority will
with
be
Tejasvi,
Lalu,
right?
and some portion will go to Nitish.
Both of you are still saying Lalu. You're
Yeah.
still not saying Tejasvi.
Yeah.
No, so long as Lalu is alive, as
It'll be
you said,
Lalu.
It will be
They'll play
Lalu.
that.
So
Lalu.
Lalu will be the face. Tejasvi will be the real inheritor if at all.
But he has
they win.
shaped up well. You see, from the last election now, he has shaped up. Tejasvi has come on his own.
I think and it's another problem with Lalu factor because then the BJP ke liye it will become easier to play the card that Lalu identifies with the complete lawlessness of Bihar.
Yeah.
So
Jungle
what the
Raj.
RJD would want to do is let's project someone young, someone who's doesn't carry that baggage.
Okay.
So beach mein Tejasvi will stir up the Lalu memory like yesterday he did. when his first reaction came to a caste census, he did talk about Lalu. He said, I thank my father. He was the one who first insisted on caste census. Like Akhilesh, he also put out a video of his father inside Lok Sabha talking about the caste census. So as and when it suits them on safe topics, they'll bring back the memory of their father. But by and large, try and avoid that baggage, which I think Tejaswi is going to be used.
Okay. Last question on Bihar, and after that we'll move south. Is PK a factor? Do you think he's going to be a factor this time?
Well, so far I got an impression that feedback that he is being able to get some supports, new face, new wind. So ultimately he will damage the opposition vote space.
He's going to do that.
I
Can
agree
you
with you.
get
I agree.
Whatever be at 1%, 2%, that I don't know.
He's getting the crowds and he's
but
going to be
he's
more of a
also-
vote Katua type.
And also spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Huh.
Spending a lot of money. So encouraging people to come. He is making a paid volunteers, paid cadres, like CPM had, paid cadres.
But if that was the case, then that Patna event would have been much bigger. He would have got bigger crowds. He didn't get it.
Not in Patna.
Not in Patna, but in
the
interiors he
rural,
got the
rural,
rural
area,
where he got the
rural
crowds.
area.
Okay, let me come to this when you were talking about the census versus survey. In Karnataka, the Vokalikas and the Lingayats, now they are not too happy with the caste survey. And everybody is saying that this is going to, Siddaramaiah wants it out. DK Shiv Kumar doesn't want it out. So, where do you see it playing? Do you see Siddaramaiah vacating the Chief Minister's kursi by December? Do you see a war between these two? Because DK seems to be pretty sure that it's going to be him in December.
It will not be easy to dislodge Siddaramaiah because Siddaramaiah, he is not from the original Congress mold. He was with Devagowda. He's from the socialist background. And he's credited with that Ainda, that acronym for Alpasankyak and all that. And Siddaramaiah has his own thing. Now, this survey, it is not yet official, probably on May 9th, and there is a pressure from Rahul Gandhi to release the report. Siddaramaiah wants to release it. But DK is opposed and all others are opposed. But a very strange thing has happened. Because Karnataka politics has been dominated by this Vokaliga versus Lingayat.
Yeah.
And these figures that have been leaked, they have brought the number of Lingayats down by 2-3%.
Yeah.
And Kurbas are even more than Vokaligas. Kurba is the community to which, Shapat community to which Siddaramaiah
Siddaramaiah
So
belongs.
that has, upset everybody there. So first time you are seeing the mutt heads of Vokaligas and Lingayats are jointly calling for bandh and protest, and that's become a big thing. And DK Shivkumar, of course, knows this whole survey thing has upset that original agreement, which supporters of Shivkumar insist that it was supposed to be rotation. And come this November, Siddaramaiah would have completed his part and it is time for him. But see, already the run-up, what did you see? Siddaramaiah encouraging other leaders to, say that why should it only be
the
Vokaliga?
reaction of the JDS?
JDS, is it a factor at all now?
To some extent in the assembly poll, definitely they will be factored in
Kuch
some
nahi,
places.
kya assembly
But they have supported the caste census. NDA as a bloc has supported caste census.
They will support caste census. We are talking of that survey.
Survey means only...
No,
That survey which was done.
See, that survey.
No, you
So
cannot-
only thing what can happen is now, if Congress leadership decides, central leadership decides in Karnataka, we just forget this survey and senses that there can be ceasefire within the Congress. Otherwise, Lingayat leaders in Congress, because you see, they may be in the Congress, but they owe it to the community. MB Patil, there are so many, even Siddaramaiah supporters, many Lingayat leaders, they are very upset with whatever is coming out. Because you see, these Lingayats, Lingayat community as well, Vokaliga communities, they run mudds, educational institutions. There is a lot of support base, which will not be very prudent to upset. But Siddaramaiah is challenging that. He is talking of minorities, then categorization among Dalits. But then these two are now uniting because there was the impression was that Vokaligas are 17% and Lingayats are 15%, so 32%. Like we talked in Bengal, Mamata having 30, then the rest. So that is getting disturbed. And this whole caste census or caste survey, it's about perception. Which community has how much? On that basis depends the candidates, getting tickets, getting nomination. So Karnataka, and the other thing has happened, Smita, despite Siddaramaiah being supposed to be a very able CM in terms of administrative way, but this term has been having a lot of problems.
What did it be?
But
He
there is
went
a
to
legal
slap
point.
a
You know, there
policeman.
is a
What?
legal point. What
See,
I
I'll tell you
say,
one thing.
once the census starts, along with the caste, mentioning the caste, then no state survey
Yes,
actually.
because census
is
Will
that.
stay.
See,
No, no.
see,
But
see,
both
see,
अभी तो 6 months में
I-
decide होना है.
So I find the Rajasthan example, I'm coming back. Remember, Rahul Gandhi did not like Ashok Gehlot, but he could never ever remove him. Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the AICC session in Ahmedabad, 12 times Rahul Gandhi, when he was talking about caste census, he mentioned only Revant Reddy. Kept on talking about Telangana. Yesterday, when he did that press conference a day or two back, he kept on talking about the Telangana model
Didn't
and
say
Revant
Karnataka.
Reddy. He has not mentioned Siddaramaiah. He is upset with Siddaramaiah about the fact because he says, you know, he could have done it, but he never implemented or released a caste survey. Twice, I think, a cabinet meeting was held. The first one was, of course, not very conclusive. The second cabinet meeting in Karnataka was held. They never made it public. You know, Rahul Gandhi doesn't understand often these
This is
political
too
compulsions.
complicated. Lingayats, Vokaligas and all that, I think, is beyond Rahul Gandhi's.
Yeah, I don't think he
pay grade.
understands the political compulsion which a Siddaramaiah may have on the ground. It's very easy for us to sit here and say, ye problem nahi hoga, kuch nahi hoga, why can't you implement it? But the man who's having to deal with it is the one who's facing the problem. This is something which Rahul Gandhi doesn't understand. I think he says, I want a consensus, caste survey, you should have made it public, you didn't make it public. At the press conference in AICC, he kept on talking about Revant Reddy. He kept on talking about the Telangana model. He's like completely smitten with Revant Reddy.
What
And
is
then-
it? They're calling it Rera.
Yeah.
Revant and Rahul.
And you guys only put out that picture of Rahul Gandhi and Revant Reddy के picture के ऊपर में milk से नहलाया जा रहा है.
Yeah.
You guys had that picture.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
So
mind
that's
you,
the-
Revant is a ABVP.
Yeah.
His
import.
Purva Ashram was ABVP.
He's an
But
import
Rahul
from
Gandhi,
there.
Yes.
Rahul Gandhi was the one who chose him. He wanted him to become the CM. He's just a firebrand.
So
And
does
now-
Rahul Gandhi want DK Shiv Kumar? Because everybody used to say that DK has the blessing of Sonia and Siddaramaiah has the blessing of Rahul Gandhi, or vice versa. I don't know.
Priyanka.
Priyanka.
Yeah.
DK Shivkumar is
Has
very
the
close
things
to
of Priyanka.
Priyanka.
See,
And Priyanka acknowledges the services that DK Shivkumar has
But he's
rendered.
a troubleshooter.
So she did that with
No, no, he
Sachin
has-
Pilot also, they
Nahi
say.
hua na.
No, in terms of
So,
financial resources,
in
DK
terms of
Shivkumar
financial
has
resources, in
contributed
terms
a
of being
lot.
the troubleshooter, whenever there's a crisis, he's dashed off. Whenever they think there's a possibility of horse trading, DK is sent. So he's a man for all the seasons and ticking the right boxes, except not becoming the chief minister.
How much money he spent for this Bharat Jodo Yatra? And every unit, I remember when
Abhi to they sent him to Himachal also, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Smita, when the
What does DK
Bharat
have to
Jodo
do with
Yatra
Himachal?
entered Telangana, the Telangana unit, that time Revant Reddy was not so much in the picture. When it entered Telangana, the Telangana unit said, we don't have that money to, handle these 500 people who are traveling with Rahul.
Yeah.
Then DK was asked to go and
KCR,
supervise.
they were
Similarly,
all
na-
laughing at that Bharat Jodo Yatra. KCR and gang were laughing because he was going to areas and all that which didn't matter, they said. But apparently that had an effect.
But DK's feels, see, DK's is very close to Priyanka.
Huh.
And Priyanka feels, it's time to give him something. Something should be done.
Huh.
And this agreement business, that
But ये
rotation.
2.5 years हमने पहले भी सुना हुआ है.
सुना था.
It never happens.
Never happens.
No, no. They
You know,
said the
once a
same in
person
Kashmir.
comes
I
in
don't-
Kashmir,
Kashmir,
Omar
Kashmir,
sat for
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
They said your time will come.
No, but Congress doesn't believe this kind of
Chhattisgarh
theory.
also it happened.
Chhattisgarh.
Nobody.
That's the reason why.
But if you dislodge Siddaramaiah will walk out from his own regional party.
Yeah,
He
which
will
is
not-
why I said the
that's
Congress
a big threat.
will not have the courage to do it.
Okay. You think that the.
I think that definitely if you unnecessarily अगर हटाएंगे तो उसके पास ऑप्शन क्या है? Like Punjab Amrinder Singh, everybody knows that he will form his own party. If you
No, but that was a disaster, right?
Yeah,
that
They
was a
removed
disaster.
Captain Amrinder Singh, got in Channi,
Yeah.
and then what happened?
It was a disaster all around actually.
It was the way it was handled is a classic textbook story about how not
So
to do
definitely what
politics.
Shekhar is saying, I agree that it may happen that if
That
you
he will
remove
mind
him,
it.
then he may float a new party.
Huh.
May
That's
float a new
possible.
party.
Okay, lastly, let's come a few minutes to Tamil Nadu. What was the big game plan to of the BJP out there? Do you think that it's going to work with the new experiment that they are doing?
No, you see, Amit Shah's main year was both Prime Minister and Amit Shah. In 2024 Lok Sabha elections, they went by Annadurai's assessment that we will have to create our own vote bank, we will have to create our own base, organization, and which they succeeded to a large extent. But then they realize with AIDMK not being part of BJP and BJP not being part of that alliance, it resulted in division of opposition votes and it benefited DMK hugely. Now the idea is, this is a tactical retreat in the sense they still want to finally emerge as the alternative to the Dravidian parties. But at the moment, you should not allow division of votes. If there is a division of DMK votes, then opposition votes, then automatically DMK will win. So now this time, asking Annamalai to step aside, putting Nainar Nagendran there, who is ex-ADMK, who has good, and then he belongs to different community. He's a Tevar. Whereas Edapadi Pandisamy is a Gounder, Kongunad Gounder from the Coimbatore belt. Same as
Annamalai is also
So
Gounder.
there were all these problems which they have decided. At the moment, the BJP's objective there is to see that the opposition votes are not divided and DMK's figures are brought down. Because there is a lot of problems in the DMK-led alliance also. Like for instance, the factor called Thirumavalavan, Dalit Panthers Party or VCK. See, there again the voices have started because you were also asking in the beginning, census impact on Tamil Nadu. See, there was all along a pressure on Stalin by these parties in the alliance, just as Karnataka has done a survey. Of course, Karnataka survey was done in Siddaramaiah's first term. Telangana has done a survey. Why not Tamil Nadu undertake a survey? But caste is a very big complicated thing in Tamil Nadu. Because you have a dominant Tevars in the south. You have this 1 year is in the central belt. Then you have Dalits, both in the north and in the south, and of course Counters in the west. So these are very powerful groups.
So you BJP ally, PMK, who actually demanded the caste survey in Tamil Nadu. Ultimately, I think last year, 23, Tamil Nadu Assembly passed a resolution.
No, they passed a resolution for a census.
For a census.
So include caste in census. But Stalin didn't, because you see, DMK politics, initially they never went by this caste approach. Because they, in the north, you see, their problem was always in the south where Tevas are, and Tevas had a good, Tevas, the ADMK had a good support base in the south. First time in the last election, what happened? Because of the churning in ADMK, Edapadi falling out with Sasikala, Edapadi falling out with TTV Dinakaran, then O Pannirselvam, Tevar's vote got divided and ADMK, because Edapadi this time has been that he must try one election on his leadership. But he has also come under pressure from his party because BJP can last this assembly election, not Edapadi Pandisamy.
Yeah, time is.
So finally it was realized that they have to go together because of that. But there are problems, there are issues. But the whole idea is, let us be united, because if they are united, then they can attract others. Like your DMDK can come, Captain Vijayakant's party.
Somebody's B team, as they say.
So they can come.
Plan B, not
and
B
within
team.
PMK, it's very interesting, Smita. PMK, that is Patali Makkal Katchi, that is Dr. Ramadas, Ramadas, and son Anbumadi Ramadas. The father wants to be with the DMK alliance. The son wants to go with NDA. And that is a family problem because the Ramadas, the father-in-law, cannot stand Soumya, wife of Anbumadi Ramadas, who contested from Dharmapuri and lost the election. So, and his sisters, Anbumadi Ramadas sisters, that is Ramadas' daughters, they are against this, the sister-in-law
How is the
playing a big
DMK
role.
taking Udaynidhi's coronation, that he's going to be the next after Stalin? Is that okay with DMK? Is it like Akhilesh?
No, it is okay in the sense the youngsters, the younger lot of DMK leaders find that this is just as in Bengal. We talked about Abhishek Banerjee and his loyal band of young, fresh faces. Similar thing is in DMK. They feel all the corruption charges that have come which the DMK is facing, Sendil Balaji, Durai Murugan, Ponbudi. These are all old stalwarts. Everybody knows, nobody is surprised by the charges being brought against them. And Durai Murugan himself said, he's a general secretary of the party. He has been saying, look, somebody within our are giving tips to income tax and ED. Because ED, the strike rate there is 100%. Wherever they go, they get cash.
Yeah, and okay. Pallavi, one question, like what Shekhar was saying about Annamalai. The BJP tells Annamalai, step down, he steps down. BJP tells, in Madhya Pradesh, change of leadership, no question, Shivraj Chauhan moves away. Can the same thing happen in the Congress? Can they do that with Siddaramaiah, step down and move away?
Not at all. And the reason is very obvious. The reason is your central leadership is weak. So they will not. there's a time when the Congress did not want the whole idea of regional satraps to come up. They wanted a weak state leadership. It hasn't worked that way. Because the central leadership is so weak, whether it was Ashok Gehlot, they tried to teach him that, you can't do this, but he did it. Captain Amrinder Singh also, they tried to. I remember once I had met Captain Amrinder Singh after he was removed, and I asked him in this question in an interview, and he told me, I asked him, why do you think they removed you? He said, because I would not listen to them. So they want leaders who listens to them, but no one is listening. Because the central leadership is so weak. And
Listen
every
bole
time
to
we lose-
obey. Listen bole to obey.
Listen bole to obey. Hum bolenge jao to jao.
Huh.
That's not possible. And when your central leadership is weak, and at the state level, the state leadership is becoming stronger and stronger, and like in the case of Siddaramaiah, I don't think they can do a BJP there.
Gautam, you have seen Indian political parties for decades now. You tell me that in 2024, after seeing the election results, it seemed that the BJP was on a weak wicket, in the sense that it was a shocker of for the party. So they seem to have recovered after Haryana, Delhi, and the other elections. Are they back to pre-2024 mode, or are they on a weak wicket?
No, actually, I feel that I always think that parliament election and assembly election are two completely separate issues. Issues are different, where central leadership doesn't matter in the local election and state election.
Okay.
So I don't think the state election as give them a moral boost, no doubt. Cadres are enthused. There is no doubt in it. Whether 29 is far away, I can't predict about that.
Yeah, no.
But even before that, there's a 5 state elections.
Yeah, so
coming.
are they going
I
on
don't
a
know
high,
whether BJP
or are they going on a
if
shock?
BJP say, it all go by people's perception. Now, if all the 5 BJP lose, then what will happen? Oh, BJP is going out. Point is, if they don't even retain Assam, only stake is in Assam. Rest where is sky is the limit.
Okay.
There is nothing to lose, rest of the state.
Okay.
So whether in Bengal you have to be able to retain those 77 seats which you got last poll, I think no. At the present moment it's very difficult. I don't know where this caste thing or other thing will play out.
Okay.
But it's a very difficult at the moment to maintain that tally.
Thank you so much for being out here
Thank you.
and explaining this. And I would certainly want to see that when we get closer to the state elections, I want people to come back and give me this gyan all over again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.